to Central Wellness. This is a short little, well, about a 30-minute yoga practice, okay, that you're very welcome to do at your home. It's going to be a yoga practice based on some very simple stretches, a sort of idea of relaxation and calming. And we're going to start the practice. You can sit like I am, or if you'd rather, you can lie down onto your back if that's more comfortable. And just before you get started, if you've got something like I've got a yoga strap here, but if you have anything at home like piece of rope, dressing gown cord, anything like that works just as well. And I'm also sitting on one of these yoga blocks, so we'll use that a little bit as well. Okay. So to get started, like I say, whether you're sitting or you're lying down, take a few moments, and it might be a little bit of fidgeting that you need to do, okay, just to make sure you want this sense that you really land in the pose. All right? So don't worry if it's a bit fidgety to start with. Allow that all to happen. Allow you sort of get that out of your system. And then start to really have a sense that you can settle and you can be nice and still. And typically, you close your eyes. But if you'd rather, that's not absolutely necessary. And once you're comfortable at the physical body, then what I'd like to do next is just see if you can notice your breath. Okay, very simple idea within the yoga practice. Can you notice your breath? And beyond that, let's keep this very simple. I want you to try and have three things, three focuses within the breath. Okay? Number one is that you breathe in and out of your nose. Okay? Simple. Your breath in and out of your nose, your mouth closed. Two, think about having the breath relatively smooth. Okay, so that might take a little bit of practice, and you might notice that the breath can be a bit jerky or get stuck in certain parts. So work on having this really, or as much as you can, a really smooth flow of breath. Thirdly, which is somewhat linked to that, breathe on the slow side. Okay, so I don't refer to this as like your deepest breath you've ever taken. That's not the issue here. But see if you can breathe relatively slowly. And then when we have these ideas of what the breath should be, okay, maybe we find that it helps us to focus as well. Okay, so it's not just breathe in, breathe out. There's a bit more detail to it. And even if it's just for a couple of minutes to start with, you set the yoga practice up really well. if you want to, you're very welcome to pause the video at that point and just keep going on that little journey. Okay, and the longer you practice that for, you can get very quiet and very peaceful. But for the purposes of this one, we're going to start to move the body around. All right, we're going to start with some yoga postures. And if you're lying on your back, great, because that's where we're going to go to next. And really, when you're doing these postures, okay, I'll break them up into a couple of parts. When you're lying on your back here, we're going to focus around the legs and the pelvis. Okay? Then when we move on to hands and knees, we're going to focus a bit more to do with the spine and the head and the neck. Okay? And then there'll be a couple more bits as well. So on your back there, simple, hold the right shin, interlace the fingers. Just keep the head down, keep the shoulders down if you can, and gently bring the knee in towards you. As you bring the knee in towards you, maybe you're going to rock it side to side as well. Okay, there can be something very nice just about that extra movement. Especially if your hip or your lower back feels particularly stiff or stuck. Easy movement. Okay, it's good medicine. See if you can keep the same rhythm with how you were breathing when we were sitting or lying still. And bring the leg all the way in towards you. So eventually you're all the way in. And then you're going to let go. Okay, so let the right leg go. Take your time. Hold the left. Same thing, same detail. Same approach. You go nice and slowly with the whole thing. Okay, and then you can let that go too. Okay, you can release the left. And so if we go back to the right, okay, we're going to take a little twisting pose from here. Okay, so left hand holds the outside of the right leg, outside of the right thigh. Okay, and you're going to drag it across. You're going to drag it over the top of the right leg. Now the right arm can reach out to the right, and so you get this nice balance of a pose. The right leg goes over to the left, and the right arm goes out to the right. Now, not too much force, not too much pressure. Okay? Think that what you're trying to do here is take good care of your body. So treat it well, treat it with good care. And what you should find is, even in this twisting pose, you should find that you can still breathe quite freely and quite easily. So don't try to go too far. You'll end up feeling stuck. Keep the pose light, keep the breath moving. And then when you're ready, you roll back through the middle of the mat, stretch your right leg out. And of course, when you're ready, you can do the same thing on the other side. So right hand guides the left leg. And the left arm can act as a somewhat of a counter pose, a counter movement, I should say. Counter action. Now, you can still be eyes closed, particularly if it helps you concentrate. Or feel the body, feel the pose. Keep the same detail of the breath, in and out of the nose, smooth, slow. Come back through the middle. Okay, and we're just going to do a couple more postures from lying on our back here. Okay, this next one, you'll be familiar with it, you might know it as like a butterfly pose. Okay, in yoga we call it Supta Baddha Konasana. Okay, but butterfly is another way of describing it. It's the shape of the legs, of course. You have the feet together, the knees wide. Now, you might find some value in just rocking a bit side to side across your lower back, or you might find what suits you more is just to hold the pose nice and still. Hands on the legs might feel nice. Hands across the abdomen and the bottom of the rib cage can be useful because you can breathe into your hands. You can feel the breath in the body. And perhaps you can more easily notice if the breath has those qualities, smooth and slow. Okay, so just keep moving, to keep it light. Use your hands, bring the knees, bring the legs back into the middle again. And then lastly, lying on your back, okay, you can take both knees, hold them lightly. Okay, and you can just add in some easy movement. Maybe side to side, or maybe making circles with the knees. See if you can move with good control. And your breath should have good control to it too. There should be a consistency to it. And then simple enough really, okay, if you're going to now make your way up to sit, so you can rock up and down, or you can roll over onto your side first if you'd rather. Bring yourself up to sit, okay, and then what we're actually going to do is make our way onto hands and knees. Alright, so like I said, lying down will be for the legs and a little bit the pelvis. Onto hands and knees then, we'll start to move the back around a bit, the spine. Now think of these as pairs of movements, and you'll be quite familiar with most of this, okay? So just move well. Make sure the movement is of good quality. Hands and knees then. Firstly, this pair of movements, rounding the back and arching the back. Okay, so you'll be familiar with this, often referred to as the cat and the cow stretches. What I want you to think of, okay, is when you're rounding the back, think of it starting at the top of the head. Okay, so you start by dropping the head, then you start to round through the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, and then finally the pelvis tucks forwards and under. Okay, so there's a direction in the pose from the top of the head down to the pelvis. When you arch the back, go the other way. So start by tilting the pelvis back and up, and then travel through the lower back arching, and then you start to slightly lift through the chest and eventually out through the chin. One more of each of those. So when you're rounding the back, start with the head, tucking the chin in, then round through the upper, middle, lower, and the pelvis tucks under. And then the other direction, pelvis first, sticks out and back, and then you arch. Lower back's the key, and then you lift through the chin and the chest. then from a neutral spine, okay, we'll do a little twisting pose. So if you step your left foot back so it's straight, okay, left leg goes straight, and we're just going to twist out to the right, okay, so make sure you know your lefts and rights. The left leg goes straight, the right arm goes out and then up, okay. Hopefully simple, really accessible, not too strong, and hopefully lots of space to breathe. Push down into your left, stretch up through your right, then exhale back through the middle. Of course, we'll just do one on the other side too, so take your right leg straight, take your time, left arm all the way out and up. Now again, the kind of pose perhaps that if you try to go too far, you end up sacrificing, losing the breath. So don't do that, just come to a comfortable amount. Okay? And then exhale. And come back down and in. Now the last one, the last pair, might be slightly trickier. Okay, so just take it nice and slowly. If you have a little bit more space between the hands and the knees, okay, give yourself a little bit more room to work with. And then two movements, okay, one, a bit like a child's pose, where you send the pelvis all the way back, okay, and you can be here for a little while if you like, no rush. And the other, try and bring your pelvis as far forwards as you can, okay, so the arms stay straight, and as your pelvis travels forwards, it moves towards your hands. And you might get so far with it. And if you're able to, at the end of that movement, you might slightly lift the chin. Okay? If you're into, I mean, I got quite a deep back bend, so it might not quite look like this. You might get to about here, but that's fine. Okay? Just see what you can manage. And then you're going to go all the way back again. Okay? Push the pelvis as far back as you can. Stretch your back out. Easy movement. Okay? That's what we're after. No compromise with the breath. It just flows nicely. So do one more. Again, if you get all the way forwards, perhaps lift the chin, that's great. Okay, and then we'll come all the way back. Right, so last few bits, okay, we've sort of done a little bit legs, pelvis, up into the spine, a little bit of shoulders and head and neck to do then. Okay, so to introduce an idea for the strap, I'm sure you've done this before. If you take a nice wide grip, okay, see if you can, keeping the arms really straight, okay, take this strap all the way up. Nice big stretch across the chest here, and then down. Okay? Couple of ideas with this one. Try to keep the upper body and the head nice and still. And see if you can just create a nice big movement through your shoulders. Okay? So when you're doing it, really visualize your shoulders going in as big a circle as they can. All the way back and down. And if you find, there's a little bit too easy, you're not getting that really nice, satisfying stretch, just bring your hands a little bit closer together, okay? And then when you do it again, you'll feel it a little bit more. So you play around to find the right dose. But again, don't feel like you're so far into it that you're struggling with the breath, okay? The other one I want you to do, if possible, is take one arm up and one arm down. So maybe you can see it from side on like that. Okay? This thing, you can think of it as a bit like flossing really. So you pull your hand down and then you stretch the other one up. And you see it has that little bit of a movement with resistance. So see if you can get on with that movement too. And once you've done one side, you can easily switch to the other. Really imagine that you want your shoulders to move really well, really freely. So those two, practicing with a strap, hopefully they feel quite nice. And they're good exercises for your shoulders. Okay. Get rid of the strap then. And instead of sitting like this, okay, for these last couple of movements around the head and the neck, I just want you to sit like this, okay, with the legs in somewhat of a diamond shape. Okay, so you can sit nice and tall. You can hold your legs, you can hold your shins so that you can sit up, okay? Avoid this, avoid the lower back rounding, the upper back rounding. So if it helps, use your arms to get you nice and tall. Okay, simple enough. Again, these kind of come in pairs of movements, so drop the shoulders down, lift the heart, and from a neutral starting position, lift the chin all the way up. Lift the chin up without sort of throwing your head back, okay? That's too much. Just lift the chin up. Keep the sides of the neck long, keep the back of the neck long. And then tuck the chin down towards your chest. Now, you can move as slowly as you like through these. We'll just do two. You could always do more if you wanted to. Lift the chin up. Tuck the chin down into chest. Then, once again at neutral, drop your ear towards your shoulder. So let's say right ear towards right shoulder, just a tilting of the head. Try and keep the upper body very still. Back through center, left side. And so one more each side, through the middle, over to the right. And then center and left. This pose, this movement, I think gives us a good idea of how heavy our head is. Okay? And so how, if your head is not in a physically, literally good position, how it must create some imbalance through the whole body. It's heavy, it takes its toll. So if we can find the middle, okay, if we can go side to side and find the middle, that seems like a good idea to me. Lastly then, last pair, we'll do a twist, okay, so you turn your chin towards right shoulder, okay, and still try and keep the upper body as still as possible. So as you turn the head, turn the chin, and then come back through the middle. And again, go nice and slowly with this. And again, we'll do a couple. Okay, over to the first side again, go slowly. And you want this sense that the breath really complements the movement. Okay, they really work well together. Okay, back through the middle. Couple more things, okay? For this one, I don't mind if the feet go a little bit wider. You might find there's a little bit more space. I'll show you on an angle, okay? So the feet don't have to be together. You can lean forwards, so the hands are going to support you, and you can gently draw your spine forwards. Think in the beginning, you want your heart to go forwards, okay? And you might find some value in rocking a little bit side to side. Okay, sort of zigzagging your way. And then once you've gone a decent way, whatever that feels like in your lower back, heart forwards, okay? Then you can start to deepen this stretch of your back by tucking the head down, okay? So maybe not all the way chin to chest, but in that direction a little bit. You can start to let the arms do very little, and their head drops down. And those of you who've practiced with me before, you'll have heard me say this before, that you could try to breathe into the back of the rib cage. Okay, see if you can expand the back of the rib cage when you breathe in. And beyond that, see if you can breathe into the middle of the back. Breathe into your kidneys. And further even still, can you breathe into your lower back? Your lower back that can feel a bit stuck. Can you use the breath to feel for a bit of space there? Now this might end up being one of those postures that you get really comfortable in, it feels nice, and you want to stay there a bit longer, which you're very welcome to. But what we'll do is just to draw this practice to a little bit of a close. All right, if you come again to lying onto your back. And with the knees pointing upwards, the feet flat on the mat, you can think of this a bit like windscreen wipers, all right, as you drop the knees one side and then to the other. And this movement can be quite slow, and you might find there's value in pausing at each side, in like the depth of the stretch. So you can do that a little bit side to side with a pause. A sense of just lengthening your waist or into your lower back, but also the movement of the legs. A nice easy pose to release any tension. And so when you've done that a few times, next time you land back in the middle, you're going to come to this final resting pose, okay? Now, if you straighten your legs out one at a time, okay? And then you can relax your arms down by your sides. Now, some people like to cover themselves in a blanket as well. I suppose it depends how long you're staying for. But a blanket or a little pillow underneath your head, you can be as you can be as over the top as you like, self-indulgent as you like. Try and set this pose up so it's really comfortable. Now, very similar to how you started, really. So as you're lying here, okay, and it can be very quiet, just watch your breath. And again, it doesn't need to be deep breath. Just watch it. It's on the slow side. In and out of your nose. And stay here for anywhere from a couple of minutes, maybe 5, maybe up to 10 minutes. Just enjoy this sense of relaxation.